Yeah, last but not least, actually we got a lot of information until now about career entry. Now we like to go a step further, go ahead and talking about the master. What kind of requirements we need doing a master, and we have two people from the GCU here, and I'm very happy that you are here, to have you here. So it's a pleasure for me to introduce Stephanie Pitticas. She's from GCU, from the Caledonian University, and she is responsible for the recruitment, yeah, as an international officer. And we like to hear some parts of you, especially coming to you afterwards, and like to hear some detailed information about what kind of recruitment is it about application form and so on. So, lovely to have you here. Start again.
Okay, so my presentation is going to be a little different this afternoon because I'll be talking in English. But I've paid as much attention all day as possible, so I've picked up a little German, which is Guten Tag, ich bin Steffi. Hey, okay, thank you. Okay, so to start, GCU stands for Glasgow Caledonian University. I very much wish that it was in California, but it's not. It's in Glasgow. We have our main campus in Glasgow, which is in... Does anybody know where Glasgow is? Shout it out. Scotland, yes, that's right. Glasgow is in Scotland. The university is a modern university. It's been a modern university since 1992. But 3 years ago, we decided to open a London campus in 2010. But to give you a brief overview of the university is going to be my job today. And then I'm going to pass you over to one of our students, Steffen, who's going to talk to you a little bit more about the programme, which probably most of you will be interested in, which is the International Fashion Marketing Programme. GCU in the Glasgow campus alone has 17,000 students, all at undergraduate and postgraduate level. We have 3 main academic schools, which you can see just here. The fashion programme falls under the business school, which is the largest business school in the whole of Scotland. And our main aim is to promote employability and global citizenship. Global citizenship is one of our key priorities because we believe that our students should be able to travel the world and be able to take what they learned in the classroom and put it in any country that they find themselves working. Very important to us. GCU is a very global university, and the reason that we are a very global university is because we don't just have a campus in London, we also have a campus in Oman. That's for our engineering students. We have links in China, India, USA, Brazil, and we also have a campus, a nursing college in Bangladesh. The bottom one you probably all can see, maybe those at the back can't really see it, but it is hot off the press. It's confidential at the moment, but GCU will be opening a campus in New York in September. At the moment, it's going to be executive and consultant training, and the hope is that students like Steffen, in a couple of months down the line, will be able to study part of their degree in London and the other half of their degree in New York. That's the hope, but we've got quite a long way to get there yet, but that's the plan. So we aim to be a very global university, and then there's another campus in the next few years, but I'm not going to tell you where that is yet. GCU London, as I said, was established in September 2010. We have 2 intakes every year for students, one in January, one in September. On the London campus, which you can see in this picture here, this is our campus here, we're based on Fashion Street. We take up 3 floors, and we also have a beautiful roof terrace on the 4th floor. I'm not sure if any of you recognize the lady in the green in the picture. That's the Queen's daughter. Her Royal Highness Princess Anne. She was very kind enough to come and open our campus in London, which was great. She's very funny. Not as funny as I like to think that I am, but she was very funny. The London campus is only postgraduate programs, so this is only for students that have already done their bachelor's and their undergraduate degrees, like yourselves. And we have a far fewer number of students. We only have 240 students on the London campus. It's quiet, it's professional, and it's all postgraduate programs. Students represent 47 nationalities across the world. So it's a very, very international campus. And again, we have now a huge growing number of alumni and students that are now working in and around the London area. And I'll tell you about a couple of German students that have done very well from themselves, given the fact that I'm in Germany. The two programs that we're going to mention to you today, Steffen is going to focus on the International Fashion Marketing Programme, so I'm not really going to talk too much to you about that, but we offer a full range of postgraduate programmes. The other one that may be of interest to you as potential or prospective students is our MBA in Luxury Brand Marketing. Again, this is very popular around the world with our students, but this focuses on the luxury brand sector as a whole, so not just the fashion sector, and that's a really important difference that you all understand right from the start. So you would focus on the luxury car sector, the luxury hotel sector, tourism, food. You cover the whole thing rather than just fashion. Whereas international fashion marketing is very much the business side of the fashion industry. So it's important that you get to understand the difference right from the start. Important to us at GCU London, a huge benefit of where our campus is located. We are located in Zone 1 of London. We have all the fashion, banking, headquarters all around us. So because we have such great links with industry, and Steffen will tell you a wee bit more about that later, they want to come in to talk to our students because it's one tube ride away for them. So the programme International Fashion Marketing, I should say, runs both on the London campus and it runs on the Glasgow campus. I'll let you decide and figure out which is the most popular. It's the London campus, because people from industry do spend time to come and talk to the students, whereas getting to Glasgow can be a little bit more difficult. The gentleman in the picture, does anyone know who the gentleman in the picture is? I'd be surprised if you do. Okay, he is the chief executive of Polo Ralph Lauren. He was in a few months ago to speak to our students. He is indeed Scottish, so he is an excellent link with the university, and the students loved him because he's rather dashing, and he's got very good fashion sense. The work with industry that we do involves people like him coming in to talk to our students going out to visit their offices, their headquarters, because again, you can learn so much on these visits, and you can learn so much from actually talking to individuals. A lot of my job is going out and talking to students, but really you don't really want to hear from me, you're really wanting to hear from Steffen, who's going through the process himself. Hence the reason I'm not going to talk for a long time. The bottom picture is a company called All Saints. Do any of you know who All Saints are? All Saints have been very, very kind to us over the years. Each year they provide us with 6 scholarships for students, and they've done that for the past 3 years. We have one left for September, and it is open to EU students as well. Hint, hint, it applies to you. But we do have a very good link with All Saints. They help shape our curriculum. So when we go through the programme and we review the programme, we involve their chief execs, their head of departments, and they come in and they help us shape the programme so that the students that are studying with us are fully prepared as best as they can for the industry that they're about to go into. I'm not in the fashion industry myself, but I hear it's very competitive. So it's good for our students to be prepared as possible. Now, the reason I included the bottom picture is actually in our campus. And they hosted their worldwide fashion show in our campus, and they had all their managers come over and have their fashion show. But this was very top secret, so we had to blank all the windows out. And if any of you ever see GCU London, we have windows from floor to ceiling. So I had to go and buy some very large curtains, which took me 5 rolls of tape to put up, but we managed it. So yeah. And the bottom one, for me in particular, is the excellent student experience, so that you know what you're getting right from the start. All of our programs are professionally accredited, so you don't need to worry about any accreditations because they're all there. And the bottom bit of this slide is just an example of some of the industries that we work with. I will say that Steffen is one of our Santander scholars. We receive a number of Santander scholarships every year also. What does that mean? It means that part of your fees are funded. I think it's around £5,000 for a Santander scholarship, which Steffen received. And again, it's a big help for students that are making that important decision to come all the way to London to study. Having a £5,000 scholarship, well, I wouldn't say no. The reason I included this slide is because if you look at the poster very closely, you will recognize someone in the white t-shirt, which indeed is Steffen. So we recently had a bit of a marketing day with our students, and we had a photographer that seemed to love him. And Steffen now appears in most of our marketing material and on our website, so I thought I would embarrass him just a little bit today. The other girl in the picture, Mr. Eaglebrink, do you recognize her face? The one in the checkered shirt? I'm going to test your knowledge here. Cindy, well done, well done, there you go. So Cindy was also one of, well, she was one of you. She's studying with us along with Steffen, and yeah, and the bottom left picture is just an example of your typical classroom on the London campus. Okay, so I was going through recent success stories because now in the London campus we're starting to build up our network of alumni, and what you have to understand is the programme for those that choose to come and study with us has been running in Glasgow for many, many years. There's research, professors. The only difference is that we've brought it to London to teach it rather than just teaching it in Glasgow. So now that we have Anya there at the top, she is from Berlin. Is it Berlin? Yep, originally from Berlin. She graduated with us in June, I think, this year, or last year rather. She's now working for JAK Europe as an online marketing coordinator. And the bottom gentleman is a guy called Sebastian. He was one of our very first cohorts of students, and he's now working for IC Berlin as an online marketing and social media coordinator. So that's just an example of two of our students. I chose German students because obviously I'm talking to a German audience, as to, you know, they've come to London, they've done their degree, and they've come back in a very, very, very short space of time. They've already been employed in the industry, which is great news for us and obviously for them. Unique selling points. I've gone through most of them. You mentioned unique selling points earlier. But this is from an academic point of view, so this is an academic slide which I was forced to put in, but anyway, it's there. The strong industry connections, which I mentioned, the location of campus is key, and I hope Steffen mentions more about that in a wee bit. Programme truly is international, both its content and the people that you're in the classroom with, so you should expect to be in a classroom with people from all over the world. External visits, and the bottom bit is employment, and this is something that really key because I do get to travel all over the world with my job, which is very exciting, a lot more glamorous than it sounds. But one thing that students always ask me is the rate of employment. Now, GCU, Glasgow Caledonian University, why are we good? Is because we are a vocational university, and our employment rate is at 96%. Okay? I was hoping for a bit more of a ooh there, but okay. Most universities can't say that, but it's the nature of our programs. Our programs are shaped by industry, and our students are successful. Because when you go to an interview and you talk about what you've learnt, it really comes across in your interview that you know what you're talking about. I'm not a fashion student, but I've learned all about trends and consumer behaviour and all sorts that the students tell me about, and that's just from picking things up that they tell me. So imagine you're sitting in front of an employer. These are really important qualities to have. The one thing I would say is we do have a placement element to the programme, which is a 4-week placement, which you have to do in London, or indeed anywhere in the world actually. But the most recent cohort, I think the most impressive one for me was a placement with Vivienne Westwood, which was really nice. She did very well, and hopefully she will be getting a job with Vivienne Westwood very soon. How to apply. So this is my job on a day-to-day basis. Applying to a university can be very complicated in the United Kingdom. So I do feel sorry for any student that is trying to apply, because trying to understand the whole process can be quite complicated. So I'm going to give you a brief snapshot of how you would apply to a UK university. At postgraduate level, no matter what university you decide to go to, whether that be GCU, Heriot-Watt, London School of Fashion, it doesn't matter. You will have to make an application to each university. Okay, that's the first important thing. But if you're applying to GCU, you would apply through myself. That's why I have a job. You would fill out an application form, which I would send to you. So you would send me an email and you would say, Stephanie, I want to apply for GCU London and I want to study international fashion marketing. I would respond to you and I would say, great. Here's what you need to do. You would have the application form. You would fill it out. It's a very simple application form. And you would need to send me the supporting documents, which are up here. The personal statement is very important. It's a one-page letter explaining why GCU, why this program, and your future aspirations. I will give you a massive hint here. University admission teams love to hear about ambitious students. So if you're an ambitious student, make sure it's in your personal statement, because when they read that, they say, yes, big tick. Okay, so that's for any university. Scan copies of your transcripts and your college certificates, which I'm sure the Academy would be more than happy to supply you with. You would need 2 reference letters, 1 academic from your tutors over here, and 1 employer reference if you have an employer reference. If you don't have an employer reference, you're allowed 2 academic references. And again, these must come on letter-headed paper, they must be signed, and they must be stamped, because these are all checked. You need an English language qualification. So that is either a TOEFL, a Pearson's, or an IELTS exam. If you find yourselves in London at any point and you've already applied for the program, you can come and take our internal English test free of charge, and that you would book that through myself. So one of your previous students, Sonia, is coming over to London for the open day, and she will do her English test while she's over in London so that she doesn't have to pay for an extra test, which is good. That's just an extra service that we like to add. The bottom one is very important. Anything that is not in English, admissions cannot accept it. So if you have a transcript in German, which I'm sure would be excellent, if it's not in English, admissions won't read it. So it's really important that you have that in English. So that's the application process. It is that simple. As long as you have these documents, as long as you have an application form and you send it to me, I will then take that, gather it, make sure that it's okay. I'll read through it. I'll read through their personal statement. I'll give you feedback if you need feedback. And then I will submit that for you to admissions. We then wait 48 hours. After those 48 hours, you will have a response. It'll either be a rejection, which is unfortunately we can't offer you a place. It'll either be a conditional offer, which means you have to meet one more condition, or it will be an unconditional offer. Now, to date, there has been no Academie JAK student that has been refused. They have all received unconditional offers, and that's because of the nature of the programs that you're studying at the moment and the quality of the programs that you're studying at the moment. Your professors and I have had a discussion about your average grade, and we would be looking at a 2.0 or above as a base in order to come and study a master's. The one thing I will leave you with, which is really important, our International Fashion Marketing program is our most popular program. Okay, we are adding to the fashion portfolio of programs, but it is our most popular, so it is our most competitive to get into. Okay, so when you're doing your application, for those that you choose to do so, make sure it's your best quality of work in terms of application. Websites, I don't know if I'm on the internet here, but I just wanted to show you the London website. Oh, there you go. And you will see Cindy appears again. Oh, I was hoping you would appear, Stefan. Sorry, you're not. But yes, this is the main GCU London website. You can go on here and find all the information that you need about the programme and everything like this. Important gentleman to mention, I should have mentioned him at the start, is Muhammad Yunus. He's a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and he's just been appointed as our Chancellor, which is fantastic news for us. So yeah, that was a snapshot of what GCU London has to offer, and obviously GCU Glasgow. I'm going to pass you over to Stefan now to go through the rest of the programme from a student perspective, which I think is really important for you all to hear. And then at the end, we're both going to take some questions, and I'm happy to take any questions that you like. Okay, thank you very much.
Ja, hallo, schönen guten Nachmittag. Ich bin Steffen und ich erzähle jetzt, also ich studiere gerade an der GCU und ich erzähle euch, wie ich das Studium wahrnehme, was es für Anforderungen aus meiner Perspektive gibt und allgemein ein bisschen was über das Leben in London. Ich fange mit kurz über meine Person an zu reden. Ich habe angefangen in Holland International Business zu studieren, was ist mehr oder weniger ein BWL-Studium. Habe das eine Zeit lang durchgezogen, bis ich gemerkt habe, dass es mir viel zu trocken ist. Bin dann nach China gezogen für 3 Monate, um mich selbst zu finden. Habe dann entdeckt, dass ich irgendwas machen möchte, was schnelllebig ist, wo man nicht stagniert in seinem Prozess. Habe mich für Mode entschieden, bin an die JAK gekommen. Habe hier mein Studium in 3 Jahren durchgezogen. Habe dann nochmal Chinesisch gelernt und bin dann direkt an die GCU gegangen. Während meiner Zeit hier an der JAK habe ich ein halbes Jahr bei der Bauer Media Group für verschiedene Magazine gearbeitet. Und im Hauptpraktikum habe ich für die Roma Tosca GmbH gearbeitet. Das ist ein Luxuslabel für Kindermoden. Habe da 4 Monate das Praktikum gemacht, habe das aber verlängert als beratende Position weiter für über 1 Jahr. Habe da sehr, sehr viel mitgenommen, habe ein Investorenportfolio entwickelt zum Beispiel, was für mich eine Riesenerfahrung war, weil ich das zum Beispiel vor Privatinvestoren vorgetragen habe, unter anderem vom Vorstand der Commerzbank, was für mich eine Riesenherausforderung war, die Zahlen zu rechtfertigen und diese Leute für das Unternehmen zu gewinnen. Also sehr viel Praxiserfahrung da schon mitgenommen. Ja, Studieren an der GCU, wir haben schon gehört, dass es sehr international ist. In meiner Klasse haben wir 52 Leute, davon sind 18 Nationalitäten, die sind mir eingefallen, vielleicht haben wir auch noch ein paar mehr. Die Exoten sind dann Indonesien, Brasilien, USA, Taiwan, Vereinigte Arabische Emirate, also es ist querbeet, einmal quer über den Globus, alles dabei. Und ich weiß auch nicht ganz genau, wovon ich mehr gelernt habe. Habe ich mehr gelernt vom Studium an sich oder durch die Gruppenarbeiten mit den Menschen? Man muss mit den Leuten zusammenarbeiten, man muss sie fragen. Es sind Dinge, die man nicht aus einem Textbuch kriegt. Warum scheitern Marken wie Zara und H&M am brasilianischen Markt? Weil sie da nicht reinkommen, sie verstehen die Menschen nicht, wie sie handeln, wie funktioniert eine brasilianische Mall. Das muss man nachfragen bei den Leuten, das kann man sich nicht anlesen. Genauso wenig, ein guter Freund von mir ist Inder. Wie behält man seine Markenidentität als Unternehmen, wenn man nach Indien geht, obwohl man dazu gezwungen wird, mit einer lokalen Firma zusammenzuarbeiten, sprich seine eigentliche Marke aufgibt. Also es sind wichtige Themen, die nicht überall abgehandelt werden, aber durchs Mitmenschliche zu erreichen sind. Was genau ist ein Master of Science? Grundsätzlich ist es die Weiterentwicklung von Ideen und Konzepten im Kontext von bewährten Theorien. Der Anspruch ist ein bisschen anders oder die Auslegung ist ein bisschen anders als im deutschen Studium. Man handhabt sich viel in gegebenen Theorien und versucht, diese weiterzuentwickeln und zu kritisieren. Ursprünglich war der MSc eine Grundlage für ein PhD, was er heutzutage überhaupt nicht mehr ist und das hat Stephanie schon ganz klar gemacht durch die Employment-Rate, dass es sehr auf die Wirtschaft ausgelegt ist. Man versucht, sich Expertenwissen anzueignen und sich unverzichtbar für die Wirtschaft zu machen, in einer bestimmten Auslegung, worauf man sich zum Beispiel seine Masterthesis drauf einlässt. Zu den Inhalten insgesamt. Hier sind einmal die ganzen Kurse, die man durchlaufen wird. Dazu gehören Global Brand Management, Buying, Logistics, E-Marketing, Integrated Marketing Communications. Das Work Placement wurde schon erwähnt, für 1 Monat ein Praktikum und am Ende das Masterprojekt. Zur Bewertung. Bewertet wird an der GCU in Prozentzahlen von 0 bis 100. Mit 50% hat man bestanden, 70% sind eine Distinction, das, was man natürlich versuchen sollte zu kriegen. Das ist also quasi die Herausstellung, dass man was Besonderes erreicht hat. 80% sind outstanding, 90% ist publishable, sprich, das könnte man in einem Journal veröffentlichen. Anforderungen, also man sollte nicht an dieses Studium gehen und denken, dass man eine 90 kriegt. In Deutschland kriegt man gerne mal eine 1,0 oder eine 1,3. Wenn man da zwischen 70 und 85 Punkten liegt, kann man extrem stolz auf sich sein und ist ein extrem guter Student. Selbst 70 sind selten. Ja, ich bin so zwischen 70 und 75 meistens. Genau, die Prüfungsform an sich sind Hausarbeiten. Es gibt keine einzige Klausur. Es wird alles in freien Arbeiten erledigt. Essays, Reports, was das genau, wo der Unterschied ist, kann man dann da herausfinden. Wir haben jetzt, glaube ich, in jedem Vortrag gehört, wie wichtig Teamarbeit ist. Es ist da auch. Jeder Kurs hat eigentlich eine Gruppenarbeit embedded. Die Projekte, genau, da kommen wir nochmal auf All Saints zu sprechen. Wir haben von Nina schon gehört, was sie in ihrem Job macht. Genau das haben wir in Buying und Logistics anhand von All Saints gemacht. Die haben uns ihre Mans-Taylor-Linie gegeben, die nicht so gut läuft. Und wir mussten den Merchandise-Plan für London durchlaufen. Natürlich nicht so global, über die Länder bezogen, ein bisschen im kleineren Rahmen. Aber exakt genau das, wie du deinen Job erklärt hast. Darauf gehe ich jetzt nicht ein. Genau, was muss man machen, bevor man an die GCU kommt und was muss man machen, um Erfolg zu haben? Extrem gute englische Kenntnisse sind vorausgesetzt. Es wird gesagt in einem Anforderungsprofil ein IELTS von 6,0. Das ist auch richtig soweit. Wenn ich aus meiner Erfahrung spreche, sind die Leute, die gerade eben so reinrutschen, haben ein bisschen Probleme mit dem Lesepensum aufzuwarten und da mitzuhalten. Ich würde empfehlen, möglichst viel sich vorzubereiten auf das akademische Englisch und auf das Lesepensum. Da kommen wir gleich zum nächsten Punkt, hohe Leistungsbereitschaft, das Engagement. Ich gehe gleich nochmal genau darauf ein, wie viele Stunden man investieren muss. Zeitmanagement, sehr wichtig, komme ich auch gleich nochmal drauf zurück. Analytische Fähigkeiten und Out-of-the-Box-Thinking. Reine Reproduktion in dem Studium gibt es nicht mehr. Man kann in einem 6-Seiten-Paper 50 Quellen zitieren, super viel Ahnung von dem Thema haben, aber wenn man nur das schreibt, was andere Leute geschrieben haben, fällt man den Kurs. Sprich, man muss versuchen, diese Theorien weiterzuentwickeln, zu kritisieren. Genau. Ja, ach so, genau. Und weil wir ja alle den Method so sehr lieben, kann man da gerne noch mal reingucken. Diese Grundkenntnisse in Markenmanagement und Marketing sind Voraussetzung. So, jetzt erzähle ich einmal ganz kurz, wie eine Woche in der GCU abläuft. Das ist ein Stundenplan von mir, den ihr da unten seht, von Anfang Januar. Man hat immer 2 Kurse parallel. Das ist eine Vorlesung und ein Seminar. Das Rote könnt ihr da mal vergessen, das war so ein extra Kurs. Genau, die Universität geht von einer 50-Stunden-Woche für den Studenten aus. Sprich, nach diesem Stundenplan sind das 35 Stunden, die man investieren muss, neben den Vorlesungen. Und ganz realistisch sind es auch immer diese 50 Stunden. Man kann das auch so machen wie ich. Nach den Klausuren hat man die ersten 2 Wochen schönes Leben in London. Und danach wird aus einer 50-Stunden-Woche ganz schnell eine 70-Stunden-Woche, weil man mit dem Lesepensum wieder hinterherkommen muss. Aber ja, man kriegt das schon hin, jeder findet so seinen eigenen Rückmuster. Ich habe jetzt hier einfach mal ein Beispiel von einer Woche von mir genommen, die sehr vollgepackt war. Das fing am Montag an mit einer Abgabe von einer E-Marketing-Präsentation. Am Dienstag hatten wir einen Vortrag von dem ASUS-CEO, wie das Unternehmen entstanden ist, worauf er Wert legt, etc. Und dann kam was sehr Überraschendes. Diese E-Marketing-Präsentation war für ein Start-up, also ein Real Case wieder. Und ich habe um 9:45 abends eine Mail von meiner Tutorin bekommen, dass dieses Start-up angerufen hat, sie sind morgen in London und wollen gerne die 3 besten Vorträge hören. Und dann hatte ich, sprich, 8 Stunden Zeit, mich auf eine 30-minütige Präsentation vor diesem Unternehmen vorzubereiten. Ja, hat irgendwie geklappt, aber Hat auch ganz gut geklappt, aber war eine Herausforderung. Am gleichen Tag war dann noch eine gesetzte andere Gruppenpräsentation für Integrated Marketing Communications. Nächster Tag geht es weiter, puncto Time Management. Man muss neben diesen Präsentationen natürlich noch die Reports und Essays schreiben. Das heißt, was man sich über die Zeit angeeignet hat, muss man gliedern, strukturieren, die Literatur sammeln. Und am Freitag war dann auch noch eine andere Abgabe, was man auch so nebenbei noch gemacht hat. Genau, dieses Bild darf ich nicht unkommentiert lassen. Im Großen und Ganzen, wenn man so eine Woche hinter sich hat, freut man sich. Man merkt, was man geschafft hat, man merkt, was man an Wissen dazu gekriegt hat und man kann stolz auf sich sein. Leben in London. Ich habe hier einfach mal auf meinen eigenen Bilderfundus zurückgegriffen, bis auf dieses Queen-Foto. Was man hier oben sieht, das ist ein Foto von unserer Dachterrasse von der Uni. Also es ist direkt wirklich im Finanzdistrikt. Man lebt in einer Metropole, die U-Bahnen sind so voll, wie man sich es nicht vorstellen kann. Das ist der Grund, warum ich jeden Morgen eine Stunde früher aufstehe, um einen Sitzplatz in der U-Bahn zu kriegen. Weil es mir das wert ist, sonst drehe ich durch. Ja, das sind so Kleinigkeiten. Allgemein, wenn man nach London zieht, sind natürlich ein paar Dinge zu beachten. Mietpreise sind so zwischen 350 bis 800 Pfund im Monat. Und ich rede hier von einem WG-Zimmer. 350 Pfund ist eher selten und ist ziemlich weit außerhalb. Man kann in Studentenwohnheimen wohnen, die sind sehr zentral, auch ganz nah an der Uni teilweise, haben aber den Nachteil, dass sie auch meistens teuer sind. Die günstigsten, die ich gefunden habe, waren 200 Pfund pro Woche, sprich 800 im Monat. Genau, was man noch mit einrechnen muss, sind die Bahnkosten von 85 Pfund in der Zone 1 bis 2. Wird natürlich mehr, wenn man weiter nach draußen geht, Mietpreise fallen, das gibt sich dann so ein bisschen die Waage. Muss man gucken, worauf man Lust hat. Ja, zu London an sich muss man nicht viel sagen. Man kann alles machen, einem wird nie langweilig. Und ganz besonders nicht zu vergessen sind die Preise von einem Pint. Der kostet 2,20 bis 5 Pfund im Pub. Das kann man sich also meistens leisten. Zu den Zukunftsperspektiven am Ende, was kann man machen, wenn man einen Abschluss an der GCU gemacht hat, aus meiner Perspektive, man kann ins internationale Marketing gehen, weil, so wie ich jetzt das Studium wahrgenommen habe, ist es ein Marketingstudium, wo die Professoren versuchen, es ein bisschen auf Mode auszulegen. Es ist sehr marketinglastig, die Professoren kommen nicht alle aus einem Modehintergrund, sondern sind ja, Fachexperten von Consumer Behavior zum Beispiel, die von Glasgow auch runterkommen und dann da unterrichten. Genau, man kann in die Modebranche natürlich gehen mit diesem Studium, man aber auch in jede andere Branche gehen, je nachdem, wie man natürlich seinen eigenen Schwerpunkt legt, durch Praktika, durch Engagement in irgendwelchen Unternehmen oder wie man auch seine Masterthesis dann vielleicht auslegt. Um die Bereiche abzudecken, natürlich Markenmanagement, Einkauf, Merchandise, Logistik, PR ist alles drin oder Consulting. Und damit bedanke ich mich und